All right.
We're super professional here,
And
folks.
we got to try to do our intro this time.
Yes, exactly. We will do the
It's
intro this time.
because it's always funny when it's like,
Oh
hey,
God,
we're live.
don't send. Here, I'll do it.
All right, let's see.
SM. So I'm gonna. Gotta hype it up. All right. It's twitch.tv/OTC or off the clack, right? Yeah. Oh God, I didn't even do the link properly. I'm so bad. There. You see, we're very professional on this podcast when we don't have Josh. It's been a while, but you know. Why is it not linking it automatically? That's really weird. It's not linking it properly. Sorry. Sorry for people who are listening too. And that see my browser, because. Okay, there we go. One more try. One more try. There we go. It linked it properly that time in the Discord. Cool. Okay, anyways. That being said, let's do our intro, Danny. So yeah, this is the Off the Clack podcast, a very non-standard podcast where we're supposed to talk about keyboard stuff. We usually don't, and our schedule doesn't exist anymore. But I'm Chris, that Canadian, Maple Computing,
I'm Danny Baking Pie from KBO.
and we got with us Anthony, or SMYJPMU. We'll come back to that name. With us today, he's agreed to talk about a bit of the drama that's been happening between him and I forget the other person's handle, Quinn, and also other stuff, projects working on, and how this podcast usually goes. So, yeah, I guess we'll start with housekeeping. We'll try to stick to the format a little bit. Danny, do you have anything you want to say
Uh,
before the podcast? We haven't done this in a while.
let's see. Oh, I've been working on in terms of keyboard design. Oh, I don't have it with me. I've been working on the KBO 5000. So finally, well, I did the PCBs, right? And I've been sticking USB-C as replacement for TRS these days. So I got
Nice,
the prototype PCBs earlier this week. Got them. I haven't tested them out yet, but I finally did the plate design today. So
nice,
just
nice.
moving along for once. I mean, I've been sitting on it for a long time, so
I feel that. I feel that.
people are looking forward to having that move along, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of moving along, the Elite C's got a shill. Elite C, buy it at pretty much any keyboard vendor at this point. That's an Elite C. But it
So when are those
is.
supposed to come in?
Yeah, so that's the update. It's they were originally not going to come in until after Chinese New Year because Chinese New Year, but the fab blew away my expectations and they shipped yesterday and are coming on Friday. Like,
Nice.
holy
Because I
crap!
need like I need like 1,000 of them.
Yeah, that's 2 weeks. You and a bunch of other people need some. So that's like 2 weeks early, which is just great. Can't argue. They gave me a nice silk scarf for Christmas. It's a Christmas present. My wife likes it. It
I don't
looks
have mine
handmade,
here.
according to her. The embroidery is
Did
really
you
well
did
done.
you play around with the tea with the
I
tea
didn't get
holder
one of
with
those.
the?
I didn't get the
Oh,
cool business
I see.
set like you
Hold on.
did.
Let me show you.
You
And
must
then it
spend more
shows the
money with them
temperature.
than I do.
So you hit it. Uh, let me see. I can't
For
tell
those who
which
don't
side is up.
know,
There
Elecro
we go.
sent like Christmas present packages to people, and that's part of what Danny got, like some tea thermometer. I didn't get it. I'm not important enough, apparently, or maybe it'll come with this order. Who knows? But I did get a silk scarf and a really nice box. But anyways, we'll get more into that later. Maybe, probably. So Anthony, do you want to be called Anthony or SMY or?
Whatever, really. I guess Anthony because it's easier to
Yeah.
pronounce.
Fair enough. So Anthony, first question I have: what's behind the username? SMYJPMU.
Okay,
Where did
so
that come from?
look, basically, it's literally just Anthony, but one key to the right on a QWERTY keyboard.
Oh shit! Oh, that's cool. I like that. That's clever.
Ah.
That's really clever. Okay, okay. That answers that. Oh, so that blew my mind. That's great. That must be really
Yeah, it's
really easy for you to get your username at places, right? Like who's
yeah,
gonna take
exactly. Like
that?
it's just hard to pronounce, but like
I
to
love
write,
that.
it's really fast. Just literally just shift my hand
Yeah.
one key
Just
to the
change
right.
your home. Oh, that's cool. Okay, that's clever. I like that. Well, beyond that, yeah, we still have Epstein didn't kill himself on our background. That's great.
Yeah.
Rip Josh. Josh
What?
is still dead, by the way, guys. Not really, but he's not here. Um, anyways, so Anthony, you want to give us like a bit of background on you, what you've, I guess, how you got into the keyboard scene, right?
Yeah, so
What attracted you to it, and kind of what you've been doing, and we'll get into the drama part in a few minutes. Just like brief overview of why, yeah, why you're here, basically. What do keyboards do for you?
yeah. So basically, I guess I just needed a hobby because
Fair enough.
there's a lot of free time to be wasted with like video games and such. So like I found like a video about mechanical keyboards that got me in the Reddit,
Hmm.
and then I got into Ergo, and my first board actually is an Iris. I think it's like the V1 or 2, and yeah, I've kept that board for like a year, surprisingly, and yeah, after that I've switched to an Atrius. But yeah, that got me in the keyboard, just community as a whole, and yeah, I guess there's not much more to it.
Fair enough. I mean, I think that's how a lot of people got into it. They just wanted something to do, right? And if you're in front of a computer all day, keyboard's kind of forefront of your mind, right? So,
Yeah.
that being said, what do you type on as a keyboard?
Currently,
Yeah, yeah, currently.
that's my laptop. But yeah, my
Fair.
my my current desktop keyboard is an Atrius 62 wood case with well, it's all custom. It's like custom PCB. I got a felt, like a thick felt pad between the PCBs and the top plate,
Oh,
so it
yeah.
absorbs the noise. And my switches are they're Aquasilent housings
Hmm.
in Helios V2 stems, and they have like desk keys films,
It's a
and
pretty
loops.
custom keyboard.
Yeah.
Which
Well,
I
that's
mean,
the thing. I only make like one a year. Okay. I switched
uh,
from the Iris. I made myself a new one. I'll stick to it for a good long.
it's very different than a lot of other people. I know that when I first got into it, it was more of I made one every month uh, for a bit there, and even so, I think the last one I made, I don't know, a couple months ago. Not that I use it, but one a year is probably a more sane approach to the
Yeah.
custom keyboard thing. I would think. Danny, how many do you make a year? Do you think for personal use? Let's say for personal use,
Um,
or quote unquote
probably
personal use.
like probably like 6 to 8 a year that I make.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think that's about where I was when I was
Let me see.
really.
I'll show you. I'll show you this one. I like this one. Here we go. Yeah.
Ooh, oh, I've seen that one floating around Reddit. What's it called?
So it's designed by Search Editor. So it's the YUI 40. So
Okay,
UE 40. I don't even know how to pronounce it.
it's
I don't know
staggered,
where the
right?
name comes from. Yeah. It's staggered, but has an ortho option.
Ah,
So I did
okay,
the
okay.
PCBs for that board
I love the bezels. They're
because it was supposed
enormous.
to be for actually originally supposed to be for AMJ 40 PCB, but those were hard to come by. So
Got it.
that's why I designed from scratch. But yeah, it's a pretty thick
Can you show
board.
that real quick? The other side, the main side. And look at those bezels. So their logos, their slogan should be have a 40% in the footprint of 100%.
And then I have the FC 660C version of the case as well, and it's like
Mr. Mr.
just equally the same size bezel there.
God, you just collecting keyboard cases now. I
Yeah.
haven't bought a keyboard case in a long time. The last one I got was the bullet case for the plank, which was like, God, 2 years ago now? Year and a half ago? That's a great case. I have it right here. That's my cable. My cable's not long enough. You can kind of see
I
it.
actually I
Kind
did
of see
this as
it.
well recently too. It's BDN9 with
Oh, that's
frosted acrylic now.
thin. That is
Let me
very
see.
thin.
Let me plug this baby in.
I have video going, just so you
Oh, yeah,
know.
here we go.
You can close my door if you want. Sorry, that's my wife. Make sure she doesn't stumble in here after waking up. Thank you, love. Anyway, sorry about that. Back on, I guess, slight topic. So, what people are most curious in, obviously, is the ongoing, quote unquote drama with you and Quinn. Which let me get his handle real quick because people might not know him by Quinn. Oh God, do I even? Where is it? Where is it? I swear. Oh, the land stick.
Blend stick.
Land stick on Discord and Reddit, I think. For those who don't know. So yeah, could you, before we really get into it, if you could, like, in your own words, just say what's what's kind of going on your end? I know people are saying people stole
Well,
money.
let's start from like
Yeah,
what
go
is
ahead.
hid tech and
Danny,
like
you
all
lead
that
it.
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's just start from the top level of like what your company is and what what your products are and all that.
Fair enough.
So it started as Proto Cases, but we changed the name because, well, there's already a Proto Case without the S at the end, and like to grow bigger than just Proto Cases, we basically had to change the name. So then it went into HID Tech, so HID being, well, human interface device, because the whole thing is just about ergo keyboards. So it's really around the human rather than the human being around the keyboard. So uh, I guess it just started as a hobby at first, just making like a couple dactyl maniforms and such.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, for the prices that they were going around, I figured I could sell them for like a good chunk less. And that's how the whole company started. And yeah, that that's basically the start of it. And it just grew up to where it's now. And the plan was to continue to grow it to potentially overtake Kinesis and Maltron.
Wow,
But
ambitious.
yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Danny, you're leading it. I'm gonna let you lead this a bit. Come on, you never talk.
Cool.
People want
No,
to hear
I
you
know,
talk.
I know, I know. But yeah, like we've seen Chris and I have definitely seen your different designs. So we've seen what's that like flexi PCB? What do you call that one?
It's the Flexil. The
Okay.
reason is,
Flexil.
yeah, the reason is like there's the Bastel, the keyboard, the Flexil, the flexible PCB for
Mhm.
the Bastel. So just kind of merged the Flex and ill from the Bastel into Flexil. But yeah.
And that PCB, I think we were talking about a bit last stream, Danny. It's just a thin PCB, right? It's like a 0.6
Yeah.
millimeter
How
PCB.
thin is that PCB?
There are two versions of it. Well, actually, there are more. But the PCB that's found in the Bastel specifically is 0.8 millimeters. The reason being, it's cheaper to have it in black. They don't have 0.6 in black that much, depending on the time and the manufacturer. And yeah, then there's also a Flexil Univ. That's the universal version that's supposed to work with not only the Bastel, but also nearly all of the other variants, because it just basically flexes in a lot more directions and has more tolerances. And yeah, that one is 0.6 mil, just because it flexes more.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, it's interesting. It's a smart idea, not having to go actual flex PCB, just make a thin one that well, flexes
Yeah,
enough, right?
it's mainly about cost, to be honest, because like
Yeah.
the flex kind of ribbons, they're just too expensive, and also you cannot do hot swap on them just because they don't have
Yeah.
structure, so they won't hold anything.
That's fair. That's fair. Can't say I've had a flex PCB made. I've worked with a couple, but I've never had one made, so I'm not familiar with the cost. But I know it's definitely would be more expensive. Did you look into like hybrid flex, where you have like flex
Yeah,
connectors, and then
so
how's that
yeah, that,
compare?
that was the first plan actually. Turns out it's actually more expensive than just the flex. So yeah,
It sounds.
I
I mean,
think
yeah, makes sense.
if I remember correctly, like for a single half of the Bastel, it was like $150 just for that PCB. The the Flex Ribbons one, they were like maybe $100 per side,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, it's really the just having a thin PCB is nothing
Oh
compared to
yeah,
the.
no, I've looked. I mean, when I was doing the Elite C, because the Elite C, well, now it's back to a normal 1.6 millimeter PCB, but it used to be one millimeter. I think anything down to point 0.8, most fabs don't charge anything extra nowadays.
Yeah,
I think point 0.6 they might do a premium, but it's like not
yeah,
even that much. So
yeah. It just depends on the color mainly,
yeah.
because a green point 0.6 is basically the same as a black point 0.8
Hmm. Fair enough. Fair enough.
at
Now,
GLC.
yeah. What I was going to say, what do you use for your
Yeah,
PCB fab? JLC. Okay. I think that's a pretty popular one because they're quick and cheap.
Yeah, I do the
yeah.
quick prototyping
Yeah.
fairly often.
I have never. Okay, that's not true. I have used them, but I don't use them for much of any. I don't know. Elecro, yeah, they should sponsor us. We need to talk to Sophia, Danny. Get her, get them to sponsor
Yes,
us.
we should. We'll
Uh,
talk to them.
but that's who I use for 95% of my PCB work. Is Elecro, just because I mean I have a relationship and I have so many bonus points with them because of all the Elite C orders I make. It's like I order things for free almost. It's either that or I like PCBWay sometimes. Their like audit process is really a lot more transparent than Elecro's, especially when I'm doing like one-off things for personal use. Kind of like I made this thing. It's a little PCB that takes daughter PCBs. That's not fully assembled right now, but it goes in the Zune in the battery cage of a Zune, and adds Bluetooth to it. But like stuff like that, I like either all PCB or PCBWay because they're extremely fast, and I like their quality more than JLC PCB personally.
Yeah, I've tried all PCB for my last batch, and yeah, the quality is much better than GLC,
Yeah, yeah, and like
but
for I
they're
think for
not as
PC,
fast.
that's fair. For PCBWay, last time I did it, I think I got it was done and shipped to me by the end of the week. It was only 10 PCBs, but it was like end of the week, and I got it like the beginning of the next week. It was wild. So, that's my experience with them. Shipping's not cheap with any of them
No.
because DHL, but I mean, you get what you pay for, kind of thing. I mean, and at the end of the day, they're so much cheaper than American fabs that. What can you say? Yeah, MK Ultra uses PCBWay for everything, so take that for what it's worth. Danny's gone. Danny did say he will be stepping away every so often because he does have someone working in the shop right now with him. That's why he's got the mask on also. So he might just step away randomly, come back. We'll see. But yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. Have you done anything besides the Bastral Dactyl stuff as far as PCBs
Um,
go? I know you did. You've done 3D modeling kind of as an offshoot because you
yeah,
did the 3D model for the Elite CV4.
yeah.
For anyone who's
So,
not aware, whenever you see a 3D not whenever, if you see 3D models with Elite CV4 that I've shared around, they're typically the ones by Anthony here.
yeah. So, PCB specifically, not really, because I'm supposed to have a bunch of single switch PCBs left,
Mm-hmm.
so I just use those for like most of the one-offs I make. Uh, yeah, besides that, it's really just this and the Flex PCBs, because
Mm-hmm.
yeah, just a lot of iterations to the Flex PCBs, mainly because of the new models that were supposed to come out.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I wanted to eliminate the ribbon cables completely inside. So just have a single PCB that goes, that does the plate that goes around to the thumb and curves back down to the MCU. So yeah,
Fair enough. Fair enough. I like the PCB design stuff myself, but I mean, it sounds like you're just kind of what's the word? You're just really starting to get into it, the keyboard, like as far as business stuff goes,
yeah.
the keyboard stuff. And it's HID tech right now, right?
Well, that's the thing. Uh,
It used
no
to be
one's
HID
sure
tech.
anymore. Yeah, because well, it used to be HID Tech, but then like I stopped taking orders for well myself a good while ago,
Hmm.
just because I got overwhelmed with the
Which
uh,
happens.
yeah, and then yeah, then it just kind of went away, and that's part of the drama with
Yeah, yeah,
yeah
for sure. Which we will, dear viewers, we will get into that for sure. I'm kind of just waiting for Danny to get back so he can weigh in, but we might not.
yeah
Oh, there he is. He's back.
Yeah, I'm here. I've been listening the whole time.
Oh
So
yeah, you got your
I've got
wireless
because I
headphones,
got my
Mister
BT.
Mister Fancy Man. BT. God. BT. So I don't know why it laughed
Beat.
me so much. BT for Bluetooth. Can't say Bluetooth. It's the same amount of syllables. Come on. Uh, anyways, all right. So for the drama, let's just jump right into it. Right. So we have an idea of who Anthony is, like how they got into keyboards, what their, I guess, website, business, whatever you want to call it, started. Right. Oh, you have your kid there, Danny?
Yeah, she got dropped off. The other three kids are going to the dentist today.
Ooh, fun. I always hated the dentist as a kid. So, fair enough. All right, so yeah, let's just jump into it. If you want to give us an overview, I guess, on your side. So, the
Yeah.
gist, viewers, is that there's Quinn and Anthony, SMYJPMU, and oh god, I forget. It's FM Craft on Reddit. I know that much. So FM Craft on Reddit, whatever. Quinn. They were in a. It sounds like you were in a group buy together, where like he was handling EU stuff, you were handling Canada, North America, all the other stuff, and you were collecting orders, and then he was fulfilling for EU, and you were fulfilling for everyone else. So I don't know.
Not quite.
That's what I remember. So if you explain, how was it supposed to like work out? This Dactyl Bastel group buy. What
So,
was the original plan behind it?
so the way you explained it is how proto cases worked.
Okay.
So when we were named proto cases, this is how it worked because it was mainly myself and the other guy just started to come in.
Hmm.
So I still handled most of it. Then when we switched to HID Tech with the flexible PCBs and such,
Hmm.
this is when he started to take more orders,
Hmm.
and I actually backed off from the orders because I was overwhelmed.
So he being the EU vendor, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then, well, before the drama, maybe the past 6 months before that, he was taking all of the orders worldwide, just all of them.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So none of those are mine.
So those were taken through his website, not through whatever
No,
proto
it's
cases or HID
it's
Tech.
all through HID Tech.
All through HID Tech. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
And,
Got it. So,
yeah.
sorry, I'm just trying to understand also. So HID Tech is what it was during that time. Orders were going through HID Tech and were being fulfilled by the other person, FM Craft or
Yep.
Quinn. So how did that work in the sense of, I guess, monetary compensation, right? So HIT Tech exists as a storefront. I, the customer, pay HID Tech for a Bastel or whatever the heck it was, right?
Yep.
Who gets the money? Like, whose account does that go into, and like, how was the profits? How was
Yeah.
that supposed to be handled?
So basically, the other guy just made me bills for all of the
Okay.
orders he got for around that month, let's
Mhm.
say. So it's nothing. That's the thing. Like there weren't any like specific dates or
Mhm.
such. Just whenever I got bills, I just sent him
Got it.
the
So
funds.
like, I mean, I've done a pricing. I've done it like that before. So like, you were the owner, like as far as HID Tech goes.
Yeah.
You owned that website. Customers would place an order through you, right? And then, if it was for the Bastel in this case, that'd be fulfilled by FM Craft, and he would be fulfilling them. And then maybe every month, every few weeks, he'd be like, "All right, I fulfilled X orders. Here's the invoice for my time, labor, parts,
Yep.
etc." And then you would just pay it off, as the invoices came in, right?
Yep.
Okay.
That's basically it.
Okay,
So
okay. I'm familiar. I mean, I've done that in the past, and I mean, it's pretty common within vendors like to work out
yeah.
a thing like that. So, okay, got it,
Because
got it.
and just to clarify, the plan was not for me to let go of everything.
Mm-hmm.
I backed off because I just didn't have time to take more orders.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so it wasn't just him like taking all of them, uh, well, forever basically.
Mm-hmm.
I was supposed to come back slowly as I had more time. So that's why the company just didn't transfer directly, just
Got it,
because he was taking all of the orders.
got
I
it.
just
So
yeah
was it? So he started taking all the orders up in I guess the past 6 months or so, 8 months or
Yeah,
so. Was this communicated, I guess, to customers that people know that, hey, Anthony's kind of stepped away, these are all being fulfilled by XYZ, Quentin. Was that communicated to customers, or was it
not
just kind of happened in like in the
yeah, it
back
just it
behind the
just kind
scenes?
of happened. It wasn't specifically said to like anyone,
Hmm.
because in the end, the person orders on HID tag
Yeah,
and received the product,
yeah,
so
yep,
it
yep.
didn't really matter. So that's why we
That's
didn't
fair.
bother to
No, that's
explain it.
fair. In the moment, I mean, I doubt I would communicate something like that that's happening like on the back end to customers right away because, like you said, they
Yeah,
go to HIT Deck to place something. They don't really care how they get it. They just want the product, right?
yeah,
And Danny, feel free to weigh in here, but to me that seems reasonable, right? Like, if behind the scenes, like the fulfillment person is changing or someone's backing away, as long as the orders are getting fulfilled, like the customer doesn't really necessarily need to concern themselves with that type of rearrangement, right? Danny, can't hear you if you're talking.
Sorry, I'm
All
trying to
good.
take care of
Oh,
find some toys and stuff.
yeah, that's fine. I was curious of your opinion on that. Like, to me, that seems reasonable. That like, you know, something happens
Yeah,
like
and
that in the
it's
back end.
exactly. You don't have to like expose everything to see what's going on. So as long as
Yeah,
as long as things are getting fulfilled in the
yeah.
end,
It's like for
that's kind
Space
of what
Cat, right?
matters.
For Josh, like he stepped away. He still stepped away for about a year, and he has someone else fulfilling his orders now. But I don't think that was ever made public. At least initially. I think eventually it did because well, he was gone for 2 years. But when a customer places an order, they just care that they're going to get it. Obviously, then when something happens though, like that's happening right now, it can be confusing because as a
yeah,
customer, I ordered something from HID Tech, I never got it. Where is it? And I guess we can get into now like there's a refund issue apparently with a lot of people where they're saying they ordered a product, 6 months, a year ago, there's whenever they ordered it,
yeah,
and they aren't getting, they're not able to get refunds from HID Tech, right? Because that's where they ordered it from. They
yeah.
don't care who was supposed to do it, just
Uh,
that
so
they didn't get it.
that's the thing. Like it's hard to explain because it's really more of a, let's say, a bunch of little things just coming along,
Mm-hmm.
and in the end, this is what made the greater issue with the refunds specifically.
Mm-hmm.
So, um, oh,
So
the
was
thing
there?
is,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, yeah, no, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say we can come back to that as you collect your thoughts. Just was there like on behind the scenes because obviously orders were getting fulfilled at some point and then they stopped getting fulfilled.
Yeah.
Was there any indication on that behind the scenes? Like, did you see the orders piling up, or did Quentin see the orders piling up? Was there anything like? Surely, you would imagine there'd be some kind of like indication of like, okay, orders are starting not to go out. We're reaching 3 month, 4 month, 5 month delay at this point.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what like were
So,
there indications, and if so, like what was tried to like I
well,
guess remediate that?
basically, when I noticed that I had like 50 trays on my floor,
Mm-hmm.
just one next to each other because I didn't have any desk space left,
Mm-hmm.
and all of those trays were orders just waiting to be soldered.
Yeah.
Well, I saw the problem, and in the end, the best solution was just to inform the customers that like despite like I understand that you took an order, and that you expect to have the product. This is
Yeah.
perfectly fine, but like I don't have time to like do them all
Mm-hmm.
in a timely manner. So like in the end, either people will be mad because they got it like 2 years after they ordered,
Yeah.
or they'll be mad because they didn't receive the product.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
like everyone that ordered was supposed at least to be sent an email explaining like the backlog situation
Mm-hmm.
and just not being able to take more orders. And I have given them multiple choices. So like either they get the order as is as a kit with a partial refund.
Mm-hmm.
So like they can solder it themselves, and I can ship it like right away,
Mhm.
or they get a full refund, or I also propose that they could just keep going and
Mhm.
keep the order, knowing that it could take more time.
Yeah, yeah. So you sent out an email to all the customers that were affected,
Yeah,
um, and I guess that's where it comes from because I know some of them are like a year old. So like, do you
yeah,
still have I guess orders in your possession that you were meant to fulfill?
no,
You do not. Okay.
no,
Okay.
no.
So
So
sorry, I was
yeah,
trying to remember exactly the point I was trying to make. So you sent an email to all the customers,
yeah,
giving them three options, and then ideally, they would respond and
yeah,
such.
and many did. So
Okay.
yeah, this was all taken care of.
Okay. Do you still get emails, like I guess, from customers asking where their orders are and stuff? And
Yes. So I guess this is mostly the people that just either don't read their emails,
mm-hmm,
or it got sent to the spam
mm-hmm,
somehow.
mm-hmm,
Uh, and to be honest, I should have sent more emails. So
mm-hmm,
yeah, that's my fault.
mm-hmm, yeah.
I I don't do those things like 500 times a year, so
Mm-hmm.
uh,
So as
things.
these emails
Yeah,
are coming in, like I
yeah,
guess even now, like are you responding to them? How's that going for you?
yeah. Well, it depends because a good chunk of them are, uh, I guess, Balanstics orders.
Yeah, so the EU fulfillment
Yeah.
centers will say orders.
So it's complicated to just manage
Mm-hmm.
overall, because some emails are not for me, basically. I
Mm-hmm.
don't have anything to do with those. And actually, this got me to uncover a slightly bigger problem, in that, uh, I mean, okay, so I looked basically at nearly every order,
Mm-hmm.
and
So real
from
quick,
what I
sorry. How many orders? Like what quantity are we looking at here? Just like in the past year, like are we seeing
in the
hundreds or thousands or
not thousands, no.
not thousands? So like less than 1,000, less than 500.
Less than 200, that's for sure.
Okay, so not like a ton. So it's definitely
No,
realistic to look at every order. Okay, cool.
yeah,
You continue. I just wanted to.
yeah. Uh, I looked at most of the recent orders, and technically, I paid Balanstic like I paid Balanstic for all of them, but 30% ish, I think it's a bit more, of them have never been fulfilled.
Okay,
And
okay, got it. Yeah.
yeah, and and now that's a bigger problem for me, because I either need to refund those customers. And actually, I found out about the problem when I got a chargeback for
Mm-hmm.
one of his orders,
Mm-hmm.
and I was trying to figure out like where is it coming from, and then I just looked
Okay.
into
So you're
most of the
saying
recent
part of the
orders.
issue at this current point is that customers were placing orders through HID Tech, and at some point
Yeah,
that switched to all being fulfilled by FM Craft EU.
yeah,
And as a customer, obviously I don't know this,
yeah,
so they're sending support emails to you, rightfully so, because they did place it through
yeah,
HID Tech, right? And on your end, you see that you paid the other vendor, the other person, for all the orders that were meant to be fulfilled by them, but they haven't
yep,
fulfilled around 30% of them,
that's
is the
correct.
problem.
Yeah,
Even though payment was made,
yes,
apparently. So I guess I also have a question for the customers who still don't have them made, right? Is there a way to know if it was, like for me, like let's say I made an order, right? Is there a way to know if it was supposed to be fulfilled by you or them? Um,
um, I'd say roughly, if it was made in if the order was made in like mid 20, like basically,
exact dates don't
if the order
aren't
was made if the order was made during COVID, it's supposed to be made by Balanstic.
okay. Okay, that's a reasonable
Yeah,
way to
because
think of
this
it.
is when I stopped taking orders for just
Is
not
there an
having time.
order number you could? That would curious. Like let's say like every order after order one
Uh,
seven three. This, if you
I
don't,
I
if you can't do that, that's
I don't
fine.
have it on hand. I could look into it.
That just might be useful because like as a
Yeah,
customer, like I want to know who to be mad at, right? I want to know
yeah,
who I should be bothering because I
yeah,
I ordered a keyboard. I'm not getting my damn keyboard, right?
Yep. Actually,
So
I'll note this real
it would
quick.
just be neat, like if your order is above 172, it was supposed to be fulfilled by X. Now, obviously, things before that also could have fallen under that jurisdiction, but at this point, we switched completely to being fulfilled by this person. Could at least help people know who to talk to, right, or who to try to get this figured out for. Because it sounds like also another issue is that people are making refund requests, again, rightfully so, but
Yeah.
you don't have that money anymore because you paid the other person, right?
That's correct only for his orders.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, of course, for his orders, yes, yes.
Yes.
For the other ones, well, you do have the money because those are
Yep.
your orders. So, do you forward the emails like let's say I say, hey, where's my board? You see, obviously it was one of his boards. Do you forward those to him so that he can respond?
So, the emails are in the business, well, mailbox thing.
Okay,
So
so you have a
they all,
shared.
yeah, they all come in for the multiple emails at least. They were all shared,
Hmm.
and we could all respond to them individually.
Okay,
So
okay,
yeah,
got it. Okay, I mean that's a smart way to do it, right? That makes sense. Um, And that all seems, I mean, it's definitely messy, right? Hindsight's 2020. Things could have been handled better, right? Like,
yeah,
ideally,
for
when you
sure.
switched over to maybe all being handled by X, you could have made a like announcement saying, "Hey, I'm stepping back, but don't worry, this guy's going to be handling it. All's fine." And maybe
Yeah,
once things started slipping, it should have just been paused completely rather
yeah.
than ongoing, right? But again, hindsight's 2020 to an extent. I'm not making excuses for you or for anyone. I'm just saying, coming from a vendor perspective, it can be hard in the moment to do that. I know we have a few other vendors who've run into issues where production capacity just completely gets swamped by customer orders. And
Yeah.
again, ideally, and this any vendor listening here, if that happens to you, just pause completely. Don't pause with an asterisk. Don't expect your customer to read that, and don't expect them to understand. And also, just like, don't expect it to just go away. Just like completely pause. I don't care if you have 5 orders that are in the backlog. If you are starting to get overwhelmed, just like pause the website. Okay, the customers will
And
appreciate that. Um,
yeah, I have a tip on that as well. Just like if you make per order uh products,
mhm.
just cap it. Just
That
that's
too.
my tip. Just cap it.
That too.
'Cause,
Especially if they're 3D printed.
yeah, because that's the biggest problem. Just like you have a big event or like people start to recognize you, and like overnight you have just a shitload of
Oh
orders
yeah.
that come in, and you don't have caps. But the thing is, you didn't anticipate as many orders,
Yep.
especially when like a new business comes out. You're just like, I guess it's foolish. So like
Yeah.
just cap it. And
Yeah.
like if people want more, then you can like add some stock later. But like
Exactly.
don't
Exactly.
leave it unlimited because you'll wake up with like 50 orders overnight and you won't be able to do them.
Yeah, and for people thinking, well, 50 orders, that's not too much, It
Yeah,
is,
well,
especially when it's a bespoke product. Like if you say like it's a 3D printed case, right? And
yeah,
let's say the case takes 10 hours to print. If you only have one 3D printer, well, guess what? It's going to take a month to print all those
yeah,
cases if they all print properly the first time, which I don't know if
yeah,
you've ever 3D printed it. That fucking doesn't, okay?
yeah,
And so I mean, yeah, you need to limit those things.
yeah,
And we saw a similar issue a year and a half ago now, 2 years ago with the Let's Sprint group buy, where they were doing like custom assembly or something. Maybe it wasn't Let's Split, but there was another group buy where they were doing assembly of a board, and they got hundreds of orders when they didn't expect to get hundreds of orders, right?
yeah,
And yeah, and we'll see it happen again. And it's a learning experience for everyone. Again,
yeah,
customers also temper your expectations for stuff like that. But I do think at the end of the day, though, the onus does fall on the business owner. Is like you need to realize again, people listening, you need to realize that limit your orders or at least communicate. At the end of the day, at least communicate like immediately. If you see 100 orders come in, immediately send out an email saying, "Hey, first of all, thanks for all the support, but also this is going to take a lot longer than my usual lead time, and here's why."
yeah,
Lay that out for your customers because in a niche hobby, which getting less niche, but in a niche hobby like mechanical keyboards, where we have such small vendors, the customer vendor relationship is very, very important. And I've always found, back when I was more customer facing, which I'm not anymore, thank God, but back when I was more customer facing, I know Danny can attest to this, and Josh too, he has great customer service, is just communicate. Over communication is not a problem. Like, if you think you're over communicating, that's fine. Don't step back, right? Like, if you should be giving them as much information as they want, because stuff will happen. Like, you'll have a fab shortage, right? Or you'll have a batch come in that's completely screwed up that you'll be like, well, this is going to take another month to rectify. And, from a customer standpoint, if I'm just hearing about it at that point and I haven't heard anything from you before, it's a bit more frustrating. Whereas if you've been keeping updates like, hey, it's in production, here it is, I'm working on this part, here's some pictures. It's a lot easier to digest as a customer when things happen.
It's definitely a learning curve for a vendor, but it's something that has to be done at some point.
Yeah, and there's other vendors that have issues with this. Like, it is not by far not just one vendor. It's there's a lot. Like, and the problem is, I think, not the problem. There is an issue in the community where it's kind of accepted to an extent that these people they have lives. You can't expect them to don't. It's a hobby for them, or like they fulfill it eventually. Stuff like that. And I think too many excuses are made for vendors to an extent.
Yeah.
But that's messy. That's another topic. I could talk about for a while. Danny, do you want to weigh in a bit? What do you think about my rambling about customer?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I follow behind on my customer service pretty quickly, but you still gotta send out emails best you can. Like recently, I had an issue with like the BDN 9s I made. Like I had flashed it with like some wrong firmware or something, or I sent the fab wrong firmware that ended up not working for some reason. Like a key was dead. But first thing I did was like, okay, systematically like went through my Shopify, figured out how to tag customers, and then like sent out an email to like all 100 people or whatever to get them the updated firmware and whatnot. And I remember a long time ago I did do a pre-order for
pre-orders.
It was like stainless steel plates for Iris, I think.
Yeah, I think I remember when you did.
But that took a long time. Like, that was like the one time I've only ever done a pre-order. And like, because I was working with that one fab that we know, and it was just taking a lot longer than expected. So, when I figured it out, it's gonna blow past. I think my timeline was initially like, oh yeah, it's gonna happen in like 3 weeks. Ended up taking 6. Still not too bad, but like still
double.
Emailed everybody and like offered them like a coupon code or something like that for the future.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Like especially when you're taking pre-orders as a vendor, which I would move away from as fast as you can, first of all. But if you're doing a group buy, if you're doing pre-orders, like, first of all, for the customer, treat it as like a Kickstarter. You don't know if you're gonna get anything, and also as a vendor, you need to realize like your prototype phase might have gone great. You might have been like, all right, this only took a week to get. Scale it up a little bit. You do not know what can happen until you've done it, and like everything that can go wrong will go wrong, or like can go wrong. Like your plate manufacturer might usually take 2 weeks to fulfill an order, but then they got busy, or you're not, in the grand scheme of things, you're only ordering 200 plates, whereas they have a customer that's ordering 3,000 something else. They don't really care if they let yours slip, right? So you need to realize that things don't scale like you think they are, ever. And that goes for everything, not just orders. Like, just in general, things do not scale how you want them to. And when you are such a small business where you can't, it's very difficult to absorb hits like that. Like someone like Razer, right? If their keyboards had bad firmware, they just do a recall and send you a new freaking keyboard, right? Me, if my keyboard has bad firmware, I can't afford to just send you a new freaking keyboard because I don't have it on hand, right? We're going to need to figure something out. And also, as a vendor, you need to realize, like, if something does happen, how are you going to rectify it, right? Like, for me, if the Elite Cs, if I all of a sudden got a batch of 2,000 that just didn't work at all, what the hell am I going to do? I need to make sure that I have, some stockpile, and I have a way to refund or at least mitigate this for customers and stuff. And, running a business isn't easy. And I think a lot of people think it's easier than it is. both vendors and customers alike. And there's a lot of moving parts, especially when you have to start getting refunds. And maybe that money's tied up somewhere else in the business, right? That especially is difficult. But as a vendor, if you have one good rule is if you do not spend the money until you fulfill the order, right? Like when you're starting off, that's a very steadfast rule you should live by. Like just have two separate accounts if you must. Like, put all the money there, and as you fulfill it, transfer each order's money into your spending account, right? Like that's one way to handle it that can work, because I've seen it happen to a lot of group buys where they got the money, immediately bought, a 3D printer, laser cutter. I'm not saying they bought frivolous things, and then it fails. And it's like, oh shit, well, I can't rectify this because I don't actually have the money. So you need to, like, it doesn't matter how small you are. You need to, and once you get bigger, you can absorb that. Like, you might have 10K in the bank. So, like, whatever, something happens, I got that to fall back on, right? But when you start off, you don't have, most people don't have that type of liquidity to just, deal with an issue like that in that way. So it's difficult, and it's difficult. But yeah, Danny says if you're having trouble packing orders, just have more kids. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Free labor.
So speaking of buying things, I think a lot of people are interested
I was gonna
in
bring that up.
knowing what's the story about this boat
Yeah,
that we've
what's
been
up
hearing.
with the boat? We've seen a lot about the boat. So do you even have a boat? And if you do, like, where'd you get it? Why do you have a boat? All that.
So, first of all, I want to remind everyone that this HID tech, okay, is not my primary job. Okay.
Yes.
So
Fair.
just
Fair.
keep this in mind, okay? It's not I didn't buy a yacht. I didn't buy a private plane, okay? I bought basically it's a small sailboat
Mm-hmm.
that I got uh, well, second hand, obviously, and it was a fix up, so it really wasn't expensive at all. It was mostly for the fun of just fixing it and sailing in the summer, and that was the plan and still is. It's just to fix it whenever I fancy having fun with that,
Mm-hmm.
and in the end, it's a fulfilling, I guess, hobby, because you get to sail what you worked on. You get to navigate, and it's fun. It's a small lake sailboat.
Yeah.
Okay, it's
Yeah, that's fair. And
not a yacht. Just don't get that in your head.
yeah, and I
Okay.
think some people are upset about it because they think, this money that comes in going through towards my refund, right? He went and bought a
Yeah.
boat with it. And I want to make it clear, at least some customer people out there, for most keyboard vendors, it's not their full-time job. Some of the bigger ones, it absolutely is, right? They're lucky enough, or they've got it to work where it is their full-time job. But like for all of them, it's not. It's a hobby. It's a small side business, and still got a main job, and they're still gonna buy things with their main money, right? Like when I started the keyboard business stuff, I had a rule, I only use keyboard money for keyboard stuff. And I'm not gonna let my keyboard side business affect my, main income. Because, that'd be an issue. Like I don't want to start taking on debt and stuff basically, right? So yeah, I might have sold, let's say $5,000 worth of XYZ for my keyboard business. Just because I spend $5,000 then on, I don't know, an electric bike, it doesn't mean that's where that money came from, guys. I'm not necessarily spending my keyboard money. I have a job. People have other jobs and they have other hobbies. It's not in a vacuum, especially new vendors. If you're just starting out, again, it's not one or the other. It's not like customer gets a refund or I buy a boat. Or it's not like customer gets a refund or I, go out to a movie or something kind of thing. These are separate entities to most people. And I mean, I had a rule when I did my thing was if it ever did, I started taking a loss or something, I'd liquidate everything I had in keyboards and just kind of leave it and just be done. I would step back and be like, you know what, I'm not doing it, because you can't, to an extent, you can't let it affect your personal well-being, if that makes sense. I know we get a bit rambly here, but yeah, TLDR, it's different pools of money for most people. Okay, like, I don't think it's necessarily reasonable for a customer to expect you to dip into your personal finances to rectify a situation when you're so small, right? Like when you're just starting. Like maybe there's arguments on both sides for like, well, it was a commitment you made, so yes, you should, and
Yeah.
sure, I get that. Like maybe you should, like to an extent, but at the same time, like it's messy. There's no right or like there's no cut or dry answer there. It's very much gray, right? Like that's difficult. When you get bigger, for sure, you have more liabilities, more responsibilities, right? But yeah, it's tough. It's very tough, and it is a learning experience for a lot of people. A lot of people drop out of it because it's just not worth it to them for one reason or another. And yeah, this also as a customer, when you're looking at these new up and coming people, just be wary for one reason or another. And as a vendor, you're gonna make mistakes, and you need to have a game plan how to respond to those mistakes, right? Like maybe it was in bad taste to post if you buy, like let's say I have a failing group buy, but I post on my social media, I just bought this brand new car. That's probably in bad taste, right? Like it might not theoretically be wrong, but it's probably in bad taste. Like as a customer, it's gonna leave a bad taste in my mouth. Like I don't care where the money came from. If I see you have $5,000 in outstanding orders and you're just living your life like normal, it doesn't matter how much of a right you have to that. It's gonna piss me off, okay, and rightfully so, I think, to an extent. So, yeah, that's sorry, my rant on that subject. Uh, it's
But
messy.
yeah, I think there are leaked pictures of my boat online. Uh, like
It looks
if you
like a
take a look,
reasonable, like normal sailboat, honestly.
yeah, like
I
if
don't
you
know
take
much
a
about
look at the
sailboats.
boat, it's not an expensive yacht, okay?
Can we get a
It's
picture of the boat,
nothing.
Danny? You gotta come on. You
No,
just
I don't have. Oh, somebody post a picture,
someone
please.
has posted someone at somewhere. I know
Somebody
I've
leak
seen a
it.
picture of it, but it looks like a reasonable sailboat to me. I'm not a sailing person,
Yeah,
okay, and I don't know how much sailboats cost in Canada,
not
but
much.
yeah, it doesn't seem
Like
like.
it's less than what people think it is, and that's the kind of problem with it is they think it's more than it should be.
Mhm.
And yeah,
So I
like
think
it's
Mr. MK Ultra has a point here. Well, he might have a point here. They're asking. So most people want to know if you don't have the money for refunds, where did that money go? And I know you've addressed this a bit in the past,
yeah.
previously, but if you want to reiterate.
Okay. So depending on the refund, okay, if it's not my order, okay, the money is not in my bank account. That's as simple as it is. Okay,
Mhm.
so I
So yeah.
I I
Oh, go ahead.
there's not much I can do about that. Okay, I'll be going through every single order, seeing which one has and has not been fulfilled,
Mhm.
and compiling that into a bill that I'll send to the former partner to rectify the issue, to give the refunds back, right? Because it's not something I want to be in. It's not a situation I desire
Mhm.
to be giving out refunds left and right. And for the moment being, for those orders, I'm taking it out of my pocket. Okay.
Mhm.
And like, yeah, those orders have been made on HID Tech, but then again, when the partner leaves with just the the intellectual property and none of the rest, uh, y- I'd say you have to look at it carefully and not just jump on the first post.
So in
Obviously,
short, that's what I'll summarize the answer to his question. So like, where'd the money go? It sounds like there's two pools of orders, right? Ones that were
yeah,
supposed to be fulfilled by Anthony, and ones that were supposed to be fulfilled by the EU vendor. Sounds like for the refunds for ones that were supposed to be fulfilled by you, you've already handled or are handling,
yep,
but the ones by the EU vendor have already been like that money has been sent to that vendor. So the money for those refunds is in that vendor's control, not Anthony's
yes,
control. So that's where it starts getting difficult, is because
yeah,
you don't have that money on hand to refund because it was, you know,
Yeah.
that contractor, we'll call them, right, was supposed to fulfill it. I don't know. Saying contractor to make it a bit clearer how
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
works. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that is that right? Is that a fair assumption of
Yep.
what the
And
situation is?
you also have to think that, like, if someone that's not my order just makes a chargeback on the account,
Mhm.
okay, that money is being taken from another refund that is my order.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So that's where the whole problem is like, either it's just straight up not my order, so not my refund, and the money is, well, not in my
Mhm.
bank, or the order has been like charged back. So I think it's like a forced refund, or
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna cut you
and
off a
it
little
takes
bit.
the liquidity that I had to refund the orders that are mine.
Yeah. So Abu Sab has a question. So why did you pay Balon Stick for the orders if they hadn't fulfilled them yet?
Because it's hard to explain the process behind how we worked,
Mhm.
but basically he got all of the orders, and that's the thing. Okay, I'm not here to make accusations today.
Mhm.
I'm not here for that. Okay, uh, I guess you make your opinion. Everything else is legal and to be dealt with legally. But uh, if if you work for me and you give me a bill with all of the orders you have made, well, you say you've made, okay,
Mhm.
and I have no other way of knowing if they've been made or not, other than just the customer saying they've received it or not,
Mhm.
right? So, like, I don't want the person to be left without money, because in the end, that person works for me, right?
Mhm.
So I'm in a situation where either like I wait after everyone has received their order, or I just pay him now, and whatever's done, whatever's the outcome is just compensated for in the next bill, right?
Got it. So the issue being that he would to say, I fulfilled these 50 orders. Here's my invoice. You'd pay the invoice, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But it turns out, or it seems to have turned out, that of those 50 orders, he didn't fulfill 10 of them.
yeah,
So those 10 people
basically.
now need their money, but it's already been paid because you
Yep,
thought, you paid for that work that was apparently done.
yeah.
Now, of course, maybe something should have been put in place to check if they were done. That
Yeah,
is
well,
difficult, though. That's
that's the thing, that it's just a difficult situation overall.
yeah.
And the way it was supposed to be handled is like, if say someone asks for a refund for an order that wasn't made last month,
Hmm.
for example, then the following month bill will just compensate for that one, right?
Hmm.
But then the other guy just left. So
Hmm.
so there is no other bill to compensate for those, right?
Got it. Got it. No, I see what you're
So
saying.
this is where I'll just be going through every single one of them, asking every single person that ordered if they received it or not. And it'll be as simple as that. And just giving a refund to every single person that didn't receive. And for every order that wasn't mine, which is a good portion of the new one at least, then those one will be made into a bill sent to the former partner to rectify the issue.
Hmm. Hmm. Got it. Got it. So he's the former partner is saying that you owe them money, right? They claim that you owe them money. Are those
Yeah.
like where do those claims come from?
Uh, so I think it's really just because the last transfer I made him just didn't go through,
Hmm.
and it blocked somewhere in the process, and I've currently got an investigation going on that, so that's all fine. But then I guess, I don't know, the he just was impatient and went online and wrote some stuff on Reddit. That's all I can explain for this, really, because there isn't really much else to say about that.
Hmm.
Because I don't know what's going in his in his head. I don't know what's his situation about that. All I can say is this is my side.
Yeah, no, we definitely got your side for sure. And I Balance stick. If you are listening to this, and you're welcome on also. Like we welcome anyone on. We're not. And to be clear, I should have said this in the beginning of the podcast. Danny and I are not here to pass judgment. Like we're not a
Yeah.
court. We're not Judge Judy. Maybe we should have a show, keyboard
We
court.
can
Yeah,
be the
do
court if we
keyboard
want
court.
to.
That'd be great. Forced arbitration and all that. But yeah, no, we are not. You know, we're not trying to show our personal opinions on this per se. Like, yes, we're gonna weigh in like on some of the points, but I'm not gonna say like Anthony obviously did this or Balance Six obviously did this, right? Like, I'm not here to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to get.
And
We're just
I
trying to
s-
voice both people's side. Yeah, from their perspective, basically.
I see in the chat there's a question by the S8 dude.
Yeah, go ahead.
Weren't you the first one to post on Reddit about the open sourcing files? Okay,
Mhm.
so basically about the files that were open source. That's the problem with why, or rather like how the former partner left. So he just basically dropped everything, and everything he had admin rights on, he blocked me out of. So the GitHub repository for the HID Tech organization, basically every admin has the right to kick the other admin. That's I don't like how it works, but yeah. And to touch on that is basically I got kicked off everything that he had admin on.
Mhm.
So I was left without all of the work that was done on the HID Tech.
Mhm.
And he basically just left with that and just left me with the bag of people complaining and the bag of orders to refund, right?
Mhm.
So this is why I open sourced the files on Reddit, okay? Before he made a post, okay? Because
Your kid's very cute, Danny, but I'm gonna mute you.
because
Okay.
when you just block me of everything I have and go on to continue to sell them after I've said that you can't sell them because well they're not yours, right?
Mhm.
You don't go around taking random files online and selling them, right?
Mhm.
And not giving attribution, especially since they were all licensed. And then I thought, okay, well, if he wants to sell them and just doesn't want to comply with the license and all, I'll just open source them all for everyone to just use them, right?
Got it. So you're
Because
saying he cut you off from everything, right?
yep,
Or from those accounts.
yeah,
Continue to sell even though you designed whatever file he was selling things based off
yeah,
of. And so rather than but like rather than dealing with him selling them, you're like, I may as well open source them at this point
yeah,
because
exactly.
then anyone can
Because
go make their own.
yeah, exactly. I'm just like thinking about just I guess it's a bit for myself too, but for the community as a whole, I'm just telling myself, well, sure, you can go to that person and buy it for like a big chunk of money,
Mm-hmm.
and that person doesn't give attribution and doesn't have the rights to sell it,
Mm-hmm.
or you can just download it and either make it yourself or ask someone local to make it for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
For considerably less money.
So I mean, we're not courts, obviously. So
Yeah,
you're just saying that, like, he's not complying with the license, whatever the license may be.
yeah,
We won't get into that.
no,
And that's the issue. And you're just like all
yeah.
open source. So yeah, who made the files? All the files in question
About
says
the PCB and the case. I
yeah,
think we're wondering that.
yeah. So
Yeah,
can you break down each piece and say like who made what, like
yeah.
officially?
So it was all made under the organization HID Tech. So everything that's made under HID Tech is, well, IP of HID Tech.
Mm-hmm.
And to break down what I worked on, basically I made the case. Uh, well, basically everything that's physical, I've made, I've
Mhm.
designed. So for the PCBs, it's all about the edge cuts mostly, just making something that works for the product and making the product itself, right?
Mhm.
Uh, for the PCBs, Balanstic did uh, make the traces and such,
Mhm.
but honestly, yes, it's work done on the PCBs. I'm not that aggro about the PCBs themselves. Okay, it's mostly about just cutting me off of the files I own, and well, not necessarily just I, but HID Tech as a an organization,
Mhm.
and not giving attribution, right? So I guess without the edge cuts, like it's great to have PCB making skills, but you're not going to have any PCBs, right?
So, I'm sorry, not meaning to cut you off, but there's some good questions coming in.
Yeah.
So like, was there an agreement, or like, was there anything written saying that anything that you two worked on under the umbrella HID Tech was held by the organization HID Tech and not either of you individually? Like, was there a contract there saying, hey, Anthony, if you make this case, it's licensed by HID Tech, not you. Ballistic, if you make this PCB, it's licensed under HID Tech, not you.
Yeah.
Was something like that in place?
So it was said casually. So this has been made clear privately. It was not signed specifically, but considering the business model, it wasn't required. Okay, because as a subcontractor, and I guess that part is a bit more complicated,
Mm-hmm.
but everything that was on HID Tech and on the, let's say, the GitHub and the Fusion 360 organization on Autodesk.
Mm-hmm.
This was all intellectual property of HID Tech, right? Because it was all under the name of HID Tech, and the licenses were all on HID Tech, right?
All right. So HID Tech, is that an official LLC like in Canada?
Yes.
Okay, so HID Tech in Canada, like that LLC, owned licenses to Autodesk, etc., owned
Yeah.
that GitHub repository,
Yeah.
and therefore anything made in those tools in that repository was automatically licensed to HID Tech because
Yes.
they held like. Which I'm not a lawyer. Please God, I'm not a lawyer. Sounds like it makes sense, but again, not a lawyer. I'm not going to pass judgment on that. I'm just continue.
No.
But I just want to
And
make sure I'm
and
understanding that.
and again, I'm explaining it really simply for everyone to have a rough idea,
Hmm.
but this will all be dealt legally. Okay, so
Yes. Yeah.
this
Yeah.
isn't something to be dealt just casually on Reddit. Okay,
Yeah.
I myself am not super acquainted with the how all of that works, so I'm personally not even working on that. Okay,
Hmm.
so this is all done legally, and it's off of the public.
Yeah. So, and I guess there's another good question. So, like you say, subcontractor partner. Like, what were you guys? Like, what was Balancek just a someone who did work for you, or were you guys in a partnership of sorts? Like,
He
what
did
was it
work for
supposed to be?
me.
So
The company is
yeah.
a sole proprietorship,
Okay,
right?
so he did work for HID Tech.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. And he had access to the servers and such. Got it. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Um, MK Ultra Corp says, "Who gives subcontractor bank account access?" From my understanding, he didn't have
It's
bank
not.
account access. You just paid him
Yeah.
for the invoices he billed you.
Yeah.
Um, and so MK Ultra, I think he's asking because like, where'd the money go? And MK Ultra's been discussed a bit earlier. It's that the contractor, the EU guy, would bill saying I completed these orders. Anthony would pay, and now the issues becoming that some of the orders that were apparently fulfilled were not. And that's based on what we've talked about today here. So,
Yeah.
Split
And
KB is saying
yeah,
customers want to know where their money is. Again, we've discussed that quite a few times throughout the podcast. About I think in the middle, 15 minutes ago. So to scrub back or listen to the VOD, we've definitely talked about that a couple times at this point.
And also just above that, who gives a subcontractor ownership of a Discord server? Okay,
Yeah.
so that's a whole other thing that I've talked about in my blog post. So basically, what happened is uh, both of us were admins. I was the owner of the server,
Mhm.
and uh, again, I'm not here to make accusations, so I won't go too much in depth on that. But it's explained on my post. So if you want to go deeper, just read that.
Mhm.
But basically, my Discord account has been banned for
Interesting.
roughly an unknown reason,
Mhm.
and the Discord support just didn't want to help in any way. Either they just disregarded it or didn't have time to answer.
Mhm.
And because of how important just being in the server is, I made a second account and just let go of the first one.
Mhm.
Now, this brought a problem is that the server didn't have any owner left, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Only one admin, and that's it. The problem with that is, uh, yeah, Balanstick then took over the server because admins can request
Uh,
to have the server transferred back to them if
mhm.
the owner left, right?
Interesting. Interesting.
And
So,
the
I,
problem with that is just I've never got the ownership back,
yeah.
right? And it, it's all roughly recent, so yeah, it's just a trouble of just keeping track of everything.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that works with Discord. That like, if an owner
Yeah,
of a server gets banned from Discord, where's the ownership transferred to? It sounds like it gets transferred to the admin. I don't know. That's very
yeah.
strange. I obviously can't weigh in because I mean I
That's
don't
on the
know.
Discord policy. That's
Yeah.
fine. It's
Yeah.
just that the server has never been transferred back,
Yeah.
and then the server was transformed into another one.
Got it.
So, and I lost everything on the server as well.
Got it.
So yeah,
Got it. So you were banned. The ownership got transferred to someone else
yeah,
because that account just was banned for too long or whatever. So the ownership had to be transferred. And then with your second account, you were expecting to get ownership back from that person, but that person never transferred ownership rights back to you.
yeah.
And then that's where some other of those Discord issues specifically have come from. Okay, got
So
it, got it,
I did not give the server away. Okay,
got it,
so
got it.
that's not what it is.
Okay, okay, okay.
Well,
Uh,
just to answer the split KB
yeah,
answer
yeah, no, that's fine.
question.
And then for the GitHub organization thing, I know you touched on it just for a second. So you were both admins of the GitHub
Yep.
thing. Um, and apparently with GitHub, and I can't confirm this, apparently with GitHub, if there's two admins, one admin can ban another admin.
Yeah, I've looked into that as well,
That's really
and
weird.
yeah,
I don't know if anyone here is an admin of a GitHub server with another admin, go see if you can kick an admin. Just check. Don't actually do it, but if there's an option, let me know. That seems really strange, but I also
yeah,
wouldn't be super surprised because a lot of places don't do permissions properly. But you shouldn't be.
yeah,
Logically, you shouldn't be able to kick another admin, but at the same time, if there's like five admins, you should be able to like vote one out. So maybe there's an issue if there's only two. I don't know. That'd be an interesting thing to look into. But so it sounds like either way, you were just both admins of it. Now
yeah.
maybe arguably, since he was a subcontractor, you should have been an admin and he should have just been a privileged user in that case.
Yeah, but I'm not 100% comfortable with GitHub, and I'm not
Mm-hmm,
the one
mm-hmm,
that's using it the most.
mm-hmm. That's
It's
fair.
mostly for keeping backups of files and such.
Mm-hmm.
That's my use of it. Uh, so I guess I don't know. It's just a hard permission situation to explain
Yeah, I mean,
overall.
I think I understand to an extent where like, well, first of all, you're very new to this, right?
Yeah,
Let's not forget that you mean, you can people can say oh you should have given rights here and there subcontractors acted supposed to be treated exactly this way. These are small businesses, all right? Like these are like back when I was
Quite fast
starting
and
off.
loose sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, back when I was starting off, like with Danny specifically, like him and I would like give each other PCBs and like kind of like share work with each other, like we still do, right? And like there's an implicit trust there. Maybe there shouldn't be, right? But like you can't contract everything to hell. And when you're in a tight knit community like this, you kind of implicitly trust people to not be dicks. Like, you know, I share my private PCB designs with Danny. He shares some stuff with me, and like we both expect the other's not going to go throw them up all on Reddit or like, you know, start a company with them or something like that. And then like so it's easy to say, you know, looking back, this should have been done, but when it's such a small thing, like and it is small, right? Like when it's such a small, like intimate thing, it doesn't really work out like that, you know, and it's difficult. And that's I guess where a lot of this confusion and a lot of the difficulty definitely comes in is like once you do start getting into legal issues, it's like, well then yeah, it should have been done this way, or even if it was implied, it might not matter if it was implied, right? So it's that's tough. That's tough. Because I definitely wouldn't want to start. You know, I'm not going to make Danny sign an NDA every time I send him something, right? Like, and yeah, I guess it's risk I take, right? And Danny might go and send the Elite C designs and start making them himself. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough when you're in a small business like that, you know, and especially when you don't know what the hell you're doing. Like if let's pretend I didn't know GitHub, but I have a person that you know, working for me that is doing all my GitHub design crap. Well, yeah, to me it makes sense. You know, okay, I'll give you whatever access you say you need because I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. You know, you know what you're doing, great. So it's tough. It's tough. Split KB says they do sign NDAs with partners just to prevent things like this, and that's great. Like I said, maybe I should. Maybe more people should, but I get both sides of it. I guess like I definitely don't super, you know, I don't really have any firm contracts between people. I have written word stuff, you know, like just like, you know, Discord messages saying, hey, don't do this, and them saying, sure, okay. But yeah, I don't know, and maybe it's different. I mean, not maybe, it's definitely different for different people, you know, and maybe now people seeing this should say, okay, let's start getting people to sign NDAs and let's do proper contract stuff, but it's difficult, and Split KB says it's all drama, no responsibility. I mean, it is a lot of drama. I mean, I think again, it's complicated, and it's small in the sense of, you know, it's difficult. It's difficult. They're both Frenchish, so it's bound to go sour. Thank you, Absam. Thank you for that. You need to sign clean the fucking flux off properly contracts with builders. I mean, but yeah, it's like, I guess the point there is, I mean, there's implicit contracts you get into, or implicit expectations you get into with when you're dealing with stuff like this, especially when you're starting out. You want to trust people. And again, I'm not weighing in saying, you know, Anthony's the one who should be trusted or Quentin's the one who should be trusted, but there's implicit trust there when you're working with people, and just like you're excited, you want to get into it, like, oh sweet, I made this fucking keyboard thing, 100 people want it, awesome, you know, let's do it. Or like, you made this cool thing, I can sell it, yeah, let's do it. You know, like it's easy to look back and say what should have been done, or it's easy to say, you know, these people didn't know what they were doing, because honestly most vendors don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, most keyboard vendors do not know what they're doing. That's the truth. Okay, I will say that's fact. Thank you very much. And there's nothing wrong with that necessarily, but oh goodness. But again, there's standards that need to be held to, but also there's expectations that you need to, like, I guess, realize. And so again, it's tough. It's tough in a hobbyist community like this, and it's tough when you've never done it before. And again, not trying to paint anyone in any light, but the TLDR, it's fucking complicated, eh? Danny, let me dig me out of this hole. What do you have to say?
So I'm thinking, you know, what's the next steps? You know, like, do you have
Yeah.
orders yourself that you have to fill in North America, Canada, whatever, or like, you know, refunds you need to issue yourself? And and then
Yeah, because there
in
are
terms of like
still, I've
legal
seen a
stuff,
few
what do you need to
ramblings
do?
on Reddit that's saying like they placed an order 12 months ago, 14 months ago, and they still haven't gotten it or got resolution.
Yeah,
You said you're going through every single order to double check
yeah,
that everything's been resolved. So
yeah.
hopefully you'll catch someone 14 months ago made a order through you and resolve
Yeah,
that as
exactly.
necessary.
It's also to get the people that didn't respond to the email explaining the
Mhm.
situation. So they will all get refunded automatically. So
Yeah. Okay. And that seems
no questions
reasonable. That
asked.
seems reasonable
Yeah.
at this point. If that's probably the default that should be done for most. Again, future vendors. If this, oh hey, we got a follow. That's the first time forever. Future vendors. If something like this does happen and you send an email like with three options, right? Continue the order, partial refund and full refund. The default should be if they don't respond in a month, you give them a refund. Just looking back, if you're a vendor in the future, probably just default to refund. It kind of, what's the word? It's safer, right? It's safer for you. It might not be ideal, but that's fair. So you're gonna try to go through all the orders, or you are gonna go through all the orders,
Uh,
see which ones happened and which ones still need refunds and which ones haven't been completed and stuff. And if they were your orders, you're gonna refund them. Now, if they weren't your orders, right? If they were what your contractors, if they were
yeah.
ballistics orders, basilisk, I'm gonna call them now, basilisk orders. What are you gonna do in that situation if you come across order 150 hasn't been fulfilled, user hasn't requested a refund, but you see hasn't been fulfilled, right?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
So all of those orders will be noted down, and I will put them on hold and notify every single person of the whole situation, regardless of who made the order. So that's not a question.
Okay.
And then I'll contact Ballistic, give him a bill, expect him to pay.
Mhm.
Then again, he may he may not,
Mhm.
and if he does, then all of those orders will be refunded, well, near instantly. And if he doesn't, it may take more time just because the money has to come from somewhere, right?
Mhm.
And then it'll go deeper in the legal things about getting that resolved.
Okay.
So
So I do
yeah,
have another question on that.
yep.
Do you have any, like personally in your possession, do you have any kits like that? Like not that necessarily someone's paid for. That's like that you could send to someone, right? Like
Um, I guess I have a couple stocks, but those are mostly prototypes.
fair.
Well, at least that's what I used them for.
Mhm.
Uh, Not necessarily for sending out because yeah, as I was taking a step back from taking orders, I was also working on the design
Mhm.
and all of that back end stuff that people don't see much.
Mhm.
And yeah, so I was ordering a couple things to make prototypes, some pictures here and there, test fit everything and such.
Mhm. Mhm. So as a customer, I can expect in the next hopefully, few weeks, week or two, to get an email from you if I still have a problem.
Yep.
Either explaining that you're gonna fix it or that it was under XYZ's. Um, if I don't get an email from you, right, I'll send you an email, right, and I would expect to hear back from you pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Are there any other, I guess, paths of resolution for people? Let's say that it was supposed to be filled by basilisk. I know that's not the right word, but it's easier to say. Say it's supposed to be filled by them. I haven't gotten it. I haven't gotten a refund. Assuming that ballistic or doesn't give you the money to refund me, is there any other path forward for me, like that I can get some sort of at least partial remediation there, right?
Yeah.
Because from my perspective as a customer, it's on HID Tech, right? What's
Yeah,
HID
yeah,
Tech
yeah,
going to do for
for
me?
sure. Yeah.
It sucks your contractor walked out on you, but I'm still left here holding nothing. So like,
Yeah.
is there anything else you're going to try to do for those situations?
So, well, I guess I'm open to people just asking if they could get X or Y as a compensation and then perhaps a partial refund.
Mm-hmm.
That's sure. Like I have some PCBs, I have some cases laying around.
Mm-hmm.
Like Sure, I can manage to make
Mhm.
something work.
So that's more of
But
a on a case to case basis kind of deal. Like
yeah,
if you feel like if you're not happy with the resolution or like after you've sent the bill to Basilisk and it's been a few weeks and you still haven't gotten anything, then maybe reaching out to those people saying, hey, it doesn't look like you're going to refund, but let's try to work something out,
yeah,
right?
yeah. That's also something I'm open to.
Okay.
And also, honestly, if you 100% need the money like as soon as possible, and like you cannot do without, just call your credit card and get them to cancel the payment. Okay,
Mhm.
like it's not the ideal situation for me. It's not something that I want. Okay, it blocks everything I have uh, because of the chargebacks,
Mhm.
and I actually lose money on that because of all of the fees left and
So I
right.
guess in that case though, like if I absolutely need the money, right, and I'm going to make a chargeback tonight, and my
Yeah,
God, my camera hates being in focus apparently. Um, could I just contact you, say, hey, I'm going to make a chargeback? Would it, could you just refund me the money instead? Because it sounds like it might save you some money. Obviously not ideal because you're losing money that Basilisk is supposed to be paying, but maybe easier for you to handle than a chargeback, right? Would you prefer that the customer
yeah.
contacts you so you can refund them that way, so you don't have to go through the chargeback headache?
Uh, I mean, sure, that's something that can be done, but then that's a whole other problem with the customer than, well, putting a charge back anyways. So,
Mhm.
uh, yeah, it's just complicated to handle and manage all of those things at once from
Mhm.
so many people. So, ideally, you'll hear back from me. Everyone will, and well, I guess
Well, I think you should
balance stick with
at least send out an update this like
yeah.
in a week to those people who you come across that in your list are bad,
Oh yeah, for
um,
sure.
and then arguably just keep updating. Like I would say,
Yeah,
not arguably, definitely keep updating. Like if
yeah,
you come across this, you should say, all right, next week for another update. I've sent the bill to Basilisk. I expect him to pay it soon. Next week, I haven't gotten the payment, or I have gotten the payment. Refunds are coming. Next week, still haven't gotten the payment. If you want further, if you don't want to wait any longer, contact me. We'll try to work something else out, right?
yeah. And
So,
if you don't hear back like within like let's say 1 to 2 weeks max, uh, check your spam because it does
mhm,
happen.
mhm.
And also send an email. Maybe you've changed your address or something. It's not the same as it was on the order, and then that can just be rectified,
Mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Split KB saying I'm sure Balance Stick can handle all the chargebacks for EU orders. Well, so I think part of the issue is that the chargebacks don't go to Basilisk; they go to Anthony because that was the payment
Yeah,
processor. Was HID Tech, right?
yeah,
So Basilisk wouldn't get hit by any of this. If it's only 10 orders anyway, yes. I mean, I guess if it's only a few, why not refund them all? But also, if each order was $200, let's say that's $2,000, which for most people is a lot of money. It can be difficult to just refund $2,000 out of the blue, right? Um, yeah, Split KB says, just to clarify, if anyone asks me for a refund on an order I haven't shipped yet, they'll get it, even for group buys and most custom items. And that's great, awesome. That's probably how it should be, right? But it
yeah,
seems like it's a more complicated situation than just that, right? So, and again, it does get complicated. So, but yeah, I just want to address the chargebacks do all go to Anthony or HID Tech.
yep.
They don't affect Basilisk at all.
No, and that's part of the problem. Yeah,
Yeah, and that's separate. So
yeah,
HID Tech paid Basilisk, Balance Stick, whatever.
yeah,
So any of the refunds have to come from HID Tech, and any of the chargebacks hit HID Tech. They don't affect Basilisk at all.
yeah,
And for people saying, or people not saying, for people who might say, well, Anthony, just go ahead and what's the word, charge back Basilisk, right? Take your money back that you sent him. Most people, I mean, whenever I'm doing international payments, it's usually a SWIFT code or it's usually like an international transfer. You can't really refund those. It's like a bank wire. I don't really think you can just like get a bank wire back. It doesn't work that way.
no,
So,
and
yeah.
yeah. I don't know what's the deal with that. I've done everything I can. I've paid more money so that the bank just looks at the transfers and
So how,
makes
how do you do your international transfers? Do you use like TransferWise, or you just do like a wire transfer,
it's a wire transfer.
direct wire transfer?
Yeah, international wire transfer.
I know people are saying show us the SWIFT numbers or the order confirmation or something. Is that something you can do without exposing personal information? I'm not. I'm sorry, guys,
Not
listeners or
really.
stuff.
And
I don't know if you can reveal that without like revealing bank information.
yeah, no, it's all together. And honestly, if you just want the confirmation, just look at my post I've made. Okay, look at on my website, on my blog, or on Reddit. Look at the pictures that there are pictures about the transfers. Okay, I've screenshotted the how's that called? The
The transfer.
yeah, the I guess the transfer statements. Yeah, that's it.
Mhm.
Uh,
Got it.
and posted them there. Okay, there's not much I can show.
Mhm.
That's just the reality of it. I cannot do much more than that, and all of it is being handled.
Mhm. Mhm. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, you don't want to risk sharing your bank information public.
Yeah,
Want to be good. I know a lot of people are weary of just screenshots though, because I mean, like, I can in 10 seconds make it look like I sent $50,000 to Danny with by
yeah, but
clicking
then
inspect
again,
element, right?
yeah, but then again, that's that goes for like both sides, right?
No, yeah, exactly. No, yeah, exactly. Like Discord conversations,
Yeah,
bank statements, all of that is so easily forgeable. Like
yeah,
I could in 5 seconds make it look like Split KB, cursed me out and stole $50,000 from me.
yeah,
Bam, like that, right? Like it's tough. As far as proof goes, and that's where the courts come in, right? Unfortunately, that's where like you have to go through more official channels because
yep,
we could trade screenshots back every day, and there's no way to really verify them if they're personal private communications between two people.
yep,
You have to
exactly.
believe one or the other, and it's difficult. So.
Yeah, and about that actually, I've noticed recently that some comments made by Balance Stick have been removed from his post
Mhm.
on Reddit. And look, I'll just say it honestly, those were all fake, made by him,
Mhm.
and you can see that in my post. I've shared the the the, the screenshot of those comments and what they said,
Mhm.
and I still have the Imgur link to the what's included in them. And it's hard. It's hard because when you have like 1,100 people watching on Imgur
Mhm.
something that I've never said, and you've got a dude going around telling people I've said that,
Mhm.
and so many people just upvote the shit out of it just because why not? It's hard. It's hard to be
Mhm.
honest because
Yeah.
I guess I just want people to be uh let's say less less biased of the first post because when you see a post that has 300 upvotes and another one that has zero, like just the herd mentality, just you go to the post with the 300 upvotes and that's what you stick with, right?
Mhm.
So just don't go to conclusions right away. Just if you really want to go in the drama, just read both posts, make your
And
own decision.
watch this
Yeah,
podcast, guys.
make your own decision. Look, I don't care what you think. I don't. That's just the truth of it, right? I don't mind. You make your own decision, but just
Mhm.
that's the thing. Make your own decision,
Mhm.
right? And everything else is dealt with legally. So
Mhm.
I've got not much else to say about that. Uh,
Yeah.
just kind of pisses me off how it was handled on that side. Just
Mhm. Mhm.
like I guess why do you go around telling people to call the police? That's
Yeah,
also
I
one
think
thing.
that was a bit much. I will weigh in on that. I think that was a bit much.
Yeah,
Let's not try to sick the police on people, especially in America. Oh, you're Canadian, it might be different, but
yeah. But
let's not do that, guys.
like then again, I, It's just hard to say. Like, it's his choice, so
Mm-hmm.
whatever.
Fair, fair. Well, we are an hour 45 in. Danny does things for a living. I also do things for a living, funny enough. So I think we're gonna have to start winding down here. Danny, do you have anything you'd like to say? Weigh in. Your kid have anything they want to say?
Yeah, no. Let's see. Let's see if she got anything to say. Come on, you're just kind of now.
I think
There
that's
you
how
go.
the customers feel. But yeah, I think that's we appreciate you coming on, Anthony, for sure, and giving us your perspective, kind of explaining some things. I know we didn't get to go into everything and super in depth like everyone wanted us to. There's still questions, there's still stuff coming in, but well, A, we're out of time, and B, well, we're out of time. And again, this is kind of the first time Danny and I have done. Not an interview, but like a
Hard-hitting journalism.
hard hitting. Yeah, that it's the first time we're kind of handling something like this in the sense that again we want to stay partial, kind of
Yeah.
best we can. And yeah, it's been an hour 45. So as far as any customers or listeners or whatever, if you have feedback for Danny or I mean, let us know, but we'll do what we can. If you want to contact Anthony, he's got his website and all that. And you should be expecting emails from him. He said, if you don't, in a week or two, send him an email. And as far as the rest of it goes, resolution and stuff, it sounds like it needs to be handled more officially, more legally.
Yep.
Again, Canadian law is different than American laws. EU law is definitely different than American law, so who knows what's going to happen. But if something big changes, we will definitely talk about it. But other than that, again, thanks again for coming, for sure. Offer still stands for Ballistic. If you want to come on and same thing, just kind of give your perspective, say what's going on. That'd be awesome. It'd be great to have both. Like, that'd be awesome. But I know for whatever reason, some people just might not want to come on or just can't. And the time zones also make it difficult. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, awesome. Any closing remarks, Danny, Anthony? Anthony, you first. You, I guess, you want to share your website or anything like that? Beyond the drama, right?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, my personal website isn't HID Tech, okay? And like, don't go around emailing sending a bunch of spam contacts to my personal website. Okay, that's my website where I take commissions from vendors
Mhm.
to do work such as design and such. It's nothing related to HID Tech. So if you want to contact HID Tech, then do it through hidtech.ca.
Got it. And if we could have Woodkeys on here, I would immediately. God, I'd love to have Woodkeys on. Or Centrac. If we get Centrac or Woodkeys or the Royal, any of those guys, that'd be great. Let's go, guys. Again, completely impartial. Mr. Woodkeys, although Mr. Woodkeys, I might have a bone to pick with you, but I cannot be present. Beyond that, though, Elite C stuff, talked in the beginning. You can get them pretty much anywhere. Got to shill it every episode. It's like a rule. All right. If you need an Elite C, go to pretty much any vendor. If they don't carry it, tell them to carry it, and they can contact me on Discord. Beyond that, there's an ARM version coming out, an ARM Elite C eventually, once the ARM supply shortage kind of fizzles out, because right now ARM chips are extremely expensive. It's great. Like $6. Even harder can we get Josh on here one day. One day Josh will be back, guys, I promise. I don't know if I promise. I try to promise. He said he'd be back. And Danny, any closing shilling or updates or anything like that?
Nothing really. Nothing really.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Danny's got a kid to take care of. So, yeah. Once again, thanks. Thanks, everyone, for watching. We'll do more podcasts at some point. But beyond that, yeah. See y'all later. Oh, and this will be available as VOD, and it'll be transcoded and stuff to a podcast at some point in time.